what a day. What a beautiful day.
Maybe we'll have time to drive home by the lake shore.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Bye-bye, Jim.
You have a good day, and I'll pick you up about 5.
Fine.
Good morning, Kathy. Out for a little walk?
Yes, I'm just going out for a little walk.
Good.
Whoa, Kathy, easy now. Where are you off to?
Oh, Carl,
Look, you flattened down for a minute. You were really coming fast. You almost knocked me for a loop.
Carl, I can't...
What do you say you come back with me and tell me about it there?
I don't want to go back. I don't want
Kathy,
to.
it's just for a minute, just for a little while anyway. Later, maybe, if you still want to go, okay. This afternoon, we could go for a walk.
When I came inside, and it seemed so dark and gloomy. You know what I mean?
Sure I do, Kathy.
I couldn't help it. I just had to get out. Back into the sun.
Now, what's so bad about that? I guess everybody thinks about it, about running away. Uh-huh.
Kathy? And yours, Carl.
Thank you.
I've been here sick almost 7 weeks. And I thought I was practically better. Practically ready to get out.
Kathy, running away doesn't mean a thing. I ran away myself less than a week ago. I got further than you did. Good morning, Dr. Saunders.
Carl, morning again, Kathy.
Dr. Saunders. Dr. Saunders, when you saw me,
Yes?
I was running away.
Were you? Well, you're back now, so I wouldn't worry about it. You can tell me about it this afternoon. We have an appointment, haven't we?
All right, Doctor.
Fine. I'm Dr. Saunders, as you heard. Kathy Bowen is one of my patients. Oh, I'm not her regular doctor, you understand. This is the Allan Memorial Institute of Psychiatry. It's part of McGill University. Some people call the Allan a rest home, and in a way, I suppose it is. Others, shall we say the uninformed, call it, well, many things. Actually, the Allan is a rather special kind of hospital. Special in the sense that we're just as interested in research into the cause and treatment of mental illness as we are in the actual treatment itself. That's why some of the things we do may not fit in with your idea of a mental hospital. Things like our open door policy, our day hospital, group therapy, sociodrama, and so on. But perhaps the best way to explain it is to tell you about Kathy Bowen herself, what we're trying to do for her here, or what's more important, what she's trying to do for herself. It was about 7 weeks ago that Kathy first came to see us.
I don't know, Doctor. I just can't seem to get through anything anymore. Things pile up, you know, just the dishes and the meals and the kids' clothes. There never seems to be any end. And I'm so tired all the time.
I didn't think it was anything, well, of this sort. I thought she was, well, too tired all the time. I said she should get the doctor to give her a tonic or vitamins or something, but he told us to come here. Mrs. Bowen, how long did you say you felt this way? About a year?
I really don't know. I can't seem to remember.
I think it was about a year ago. Just a little while after your mother came to stay. Oh. Is your mother still staying with you, Mrs. Bowen?
Yes. She's still staying with us.
I see. Well, that's all the material we need for now. Mrs. Bowen, I'm going to recommend that you be admitted here as a patient in our day hospital.
Day hospital?
Yes, we have a regular hospital where patients live in, but we also have a day hospital, which is, well, it's like the difference between a boarding school and a day school. Patients come in each morning, they stay during the day, they leave in the afternoon. It's better, I think, for Mrs. Bowen, particularly because of the children.
But will Kathy have as good, is it...
Do you mean that, will she get as good care in the day hospital? Oh, yes. It's simply that we believe that patients should continue to lead daily lives as normally as possible. We think it often speeds up recovery. And besides, it's considerably less expensive for you.
I think it's the best thing to do.
Fine. That's providing Mrs. Bowen agrees. All our admissions here are voluntary, you understand. You'll notice there were no padlocks, no bars on the windows. This is what we call an open-door hospital.
But what happens? I mean, what will you do to me?
Well, first we'll try to find out what's wrong. That may take a little while. We'll give you a complete medical examination to see there's nothing physically wrong. And then all of our patients take a series of tests at our psychology department.
Just as blood counts, urinalyses, and other tests help track down physical illnesses, so these tests help track down the nature of mental illness. Like Kathy, this patient shows signs of being confused and disturbed. An electroencephalograph reading is standard, of course. By recording the brain's electrical impulses, it gives us an idea of how various parts of the brain are working and whether or not they are actually damaged, although mental illness is rarely caused by brain damage. Patients spend most of their time in the big day lounge. They may leave for treatment, perhaps electric or insulin shock, or they may get tranquilizing drugs. But another important part of the treatment is just being with other patients. In this way, they learn that other people have the same troubles. We find that really disturbed people get a lot of help from those who are improved. And in turn, the responsibility helps the improved ones.
And of course, I'm not really a patient here. I mean, not like the others. I'm really just here for a checkup.
How long have you been here? What is it, Kathy?
Yes, Kathy. I've been here about a week. Yes, a week tomorrow, so I'll soon be home for good.
I wouldn't count on it too much. Lots of us have been in here 2 or 3 months.
But I'm just here for observation, of course.
Look, Kathy, it's just a sickness, like TB. By rights, half the world ought to be in here. We're lucky we're being helped. You know, 4 weeks ago, I wanted to die. Almost managed it, too.
Why? But why?
I'll tell you about it some other time. Right now, it's 3:45.
There's something I can help with, Mother?
No, dear, you know I said I would look after everything. There, now it's all ready.
But
And besides, you must rest your nerves. All this nonsense about keeping up with things. Jim, boys, supper's ready.
But Mother...
What's for supper, Grandma? What is it? Oh, salad again. Why do we always have to have old salad all the time?
Because it's good for you. In my day, we didn't get enough salad. Oh, perhaps I should take this place, Kathy, just for the time being, I mean. Ronnie, take your elbows off the table.
Mom, where were you all day?
I was downtown with your father.
Gosh, Mom, you're away all the time now.
Ronnie, stop asking silly questions.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to be away for a little while every day, boys. You see, I'm going to a sort of hospital.
Gee, Mom, are you going to have a baby?
Well, that's nothing to laugh about. Hospital, indeed. Kathy, you'd better say nothing more about it.
Now, Mother, it's a perfectly natural question. The hospital's nothing to be ashamed of.
Well, I think it's something to be ashamed of, and I know who should be ashamed.
I hope we'll find out who should be ashamed. In the meantime, we'll tell the boys exactly what we feel we should tell them. We agreed to that, didn't we, Kathy?
Yes, but Kathy, you don't know what you're saying.
Leave her alone. Just leave her alone!
You can't speak to my mother like that. You can't. She's right. Thank you.
You remember I mentioned something called sociodrama. Well, this is it. Most of the people here have some trouble getting along with other people. Difficulty in socializing, we call it. Well, in sociodrama, a social worker helps patients act out some of these everyday situations. We think it often helps relieve some of their difficulties, and quite often, it gives a particular patient a rather startling insight into his own problem. Well, now I see they're starting again.
All right, now, let's do something else, something new, something simple from everyday life where we have trouble, difficulty in talking to people. Anybody make a suggestion? Something new.
Well, how about, like sometimes, you know, I'm downtown and I'm in a restaurant, sitting at a table by myself, and a guy comes in I've never seen before.
And
sits down opposite.
And you don't know whether you should talk to him or not.
No,
You don't know whether you should talk to him or you should hide behind the paper.
Yeah.
Yes, well, that's a very, very good idea, but we did that last week. And we want to try to do something that we haven't done before. Thank you very much. That's a very good suggestion. Now, let's try this week to do something completely different, something else, something we haven't done before.
How about my mother-in-law and neighbors over for tea?
Your mother-in-law and the neighbors over for afternoon tea.
Yes,
Do you like your mother-in-law?
not very much.
You don't. I think that's a wonderful idea. Let's try that. Well, that's a very good idea. All right, now, we're going to need a mother-in-law, somebody to play the mother-in-law's part. How's about you? Won't you do it for us? No? No? Are you sure? All right, we'll come back to you later. Okay, now, who's going to play the mother-in-law? How's about you? Will you play it for us?
All right.
Oh, that's wonderful. You're helping us out. That's very good. Okay, you can go out to the table and play the mother-in-law for us, all right? Thank you very much. Now, we're going to need someone to play the daughter-in-law. Who will play the daughter-in-law for us? Will you? Because it was your suggestion. Will you play the daughter-in-law? No.
No.
Okay, well, you'll watch somebody else play it, okay?
Yes.
Okay, who will play the daughter-in-law? How's about you, dear? Will you play the daughter-in-law for us?
No, I couldn't.
Oh, come on. Now, you have a mother-in-law, don't you?
Yes.
Well, then you know what it's like to be a daughter-in-law. How's about helping us out?
Oh, all right, I'll
All right,
try.
well, help us. Thank you very much. You just go up to the front. Now, what we need is two neighbors. Will you play one of the neighbors for us? Simple. We'll enjoy it. We'll have lots of fun. Okay, good girl. Now, one more neighbor, because it's a small neighborhood, and all we need is two neighbors. How's about you? You'd like to play it, wouldn't you? Okay, fine. You play the other neighbor. Okay? Good. Now we have the whole cast. We're all here. Now, the scene that we're going to do is between a mother-in-law and two neighbors who have come for tea, right? And you're the mother-in-law, and you're the daughter-in-law, and you are one of the neighbors, and you're the other. Okay, good. Now, why don't you like your mother-in-law?
She's not very nice to me.
Does she criticize you?
Yes.
And she always says nasty things about you.
Yes.
And puts you on the spot.
Yes.
Well, good. I think that's a good reason to not like your mother-in-law. Don't you think so?
Yes.
Good. Good. Okay, now you all understand that? And you understand it?
Yes.
You do. You all understand that? Okay. Now, Mrs. Bailey, I want you to be a really miserable mother-in-law, okay? Now, let's try it.
Will you have some more tea, Mother?
Yes, dear, I believe I will.
No. What is it? 1 lump or 2?
My dear, surely you should know by now. 2.
I'm sorry, Mother. Mrs. Brown?
Yes, I believe I will. It's such fine, strong tea.
Don't you find it a trifle too strong?
No.
My dear, I do wish you'd buy that China tea I've been telling you about.
Yes, Mother, I'll try it. Tea, Mrs. Gray?
Please? I always made it for Bill. That's my son. I tell you what I'll do, dear. I'll bring a packet next time I come.
That would be nice. But I'm not sure that Bill, is very fond of it.
My dear, how can you say such a thing? I know he likes it. After all, he drank it long before he met you.
Well, I happen to know that he doesn't really like it anymore.
As if I didn't know what my son likes.
Your son. Your baby, you mean? That's the way you treat him. And me, too. You've always treated me like a baby, like a little girl. You know best. You always know best. You try to run me and Jim and the boys, run everything, just like you used to run Dad. You've always run me just the same way, and I've let you. I've let you! I hate you, do you hear? I hate you! You saw me, Dr. Saunders. You know who I was really screaming at. I hate her. I really hate. Seems that's all I can do. Say that over and over to myself all day long. It's a terrible thing, isn't it, to hate your own mother?
Well, it's perhaps better to know it than to bottle it all up.
Yes. I guess that's what I've been doing. All these years I've been hiding it and I didn't know. I really didn't know.
Well, sometimes the things we hide can affect us much more than the things we know about.
But will I go on hating her? It's all I can do to be civil.
What do you think?
Well, I guess I'll just have to wait and see. I can't change anything right now, anyway.
I think that would be the best thing. I'll see you again day after tomorrow. All right?
All right. Day after tomorrow, you said?
Right, Kathy.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Well, Kathy's very lucky. She's beginning to know what's wrong with her. She's probably reached the turning point in her illness. I don't want you to think that it usually happens this suddenly or that sociodrama was the only thing that helped. All the experiences of the past 3 weeks contributed. The other patients, the drugs, group discussions, the occupational therapy, and her regular talks with me.
Kathy has been dominated all her life by her mother, and so she's very hostile to her. But with her background, Kathy could never admit, even to herself, that she hated her mother. And so this hostility, never admitted, but always present, slowly wore away at her normal emotions. Sometimes, instead, her hostility was directed at other people, her husband, friends, even strangers. And sometimes it so clogged her normal emotions that she became confused, depressed. Well, now she recognizes that deep hostility. But that's all.
2 minutes, Mother.
Oh,
My
now,
turn.
just a second, Kathy. I think I can get rid of this pesky X.
2 minutes. You'll have to wait until next time. Now, let's see what we can do with this mess.
I don't know what's got into you, Kathy. You know we're never that strict.
Oh, Mother, do be quiet. I'm trying to think.
I've been thinking, Kathy, and...
Mother!
I've been thinking, and I believe the boys should be sent away to Aunt Margaret's. I think the strain is too great for you, Kathy, with your nerves the way they are. What do you think, Jim?
What's Kathy say?
I think things are fine, just the way they are.
I think Kathy's right. She's handling things just fine.
But is it fair to the boys? You know, having them around when their mother's like this?
So can't you try and get me admitted full-time into the hospital?
No, Kathy. I'm afraid I really can't recommend that.
But I just can't stand it at home any longer. I was fine, and then she broke me down. Just like she always does. She broke me down.
Kathy, do you really think it's that serious? After all, you did stand up to it for quite a while, didn't you?
Yes. Yes, I did.
Well, then. Kathy, if we thought that you needed full-time hospital care, we wouldn't have put you in the day hospital.
But I don't seem to be getting anywhere. I'm no better than I was 4 weeks ago.
Can you really believe that? Kathy, if you went into full-time hospital now, you'd be running away from your problems.
What about my mother? Isn't she the problem? Why don't you put her in the hospital?
A good many of our patients suggest that, and some of them are right. But from what you've told me about your mother, she seems to be quite a woman. After all, she raised 3 of you on practically nothing after your father died.
Yes, I know.
Perhaps she has problems of her own.
I never thought of it that way. She always seemed so sure of herself.
And so what I want to know is, do you think I'm doing right treating him like this?
Oh, just a moment, Mr. Stewart. For those who just came in, I'd like to explain what we are going to do. Now, you all have a relative here in the Allan Institute, and what we are going to do is simply talk about some of the problems of this particular illness, because you all can be of great help in the recovery of your patient. Now, Mr. Stewart tells me that he's trying to treat his patient. Will you tell them, Mr. Stewart?
Well, what I'm trying to do is not treat him too soft, as if he needed babying or anything, but not treat him too hard, as if anything was his fault. Is that right, Mrs. Feinberg?
Have any of you others any ideas?
Well, I'm not sure I agree with that. After all, the patient is sick, and you treat sick people with special care.
I don't go along with that at all. They're not sick like ordinary people. It's all in their minds. All most of them need is just to snap out of it. And my wife now, she never wanted for a thing. Everything she wanted, I gave her. I think she had it too soft.
Perhaps that's the trouble.
Yeah, you bet that's the trouble. I gave my boy everything, and that's why he's here. I've learned a lot in the last 3 months. I never used to let him do anything on his own, and not because I wanted to help him, really. I think I just wanted to keep him under my thumb. He's never had a chance to grow up.
Nobody's told me how long my patient will be here.
That's impossible to say, but it varies with the case. It won't last less than a month, and it won't be longer than 3 months. You see, we don't expect to cure the patient completely here, but we do hope to bring them to the point where they can carry on a normal, active life, though they may still need an occasional treatment after they leave.
I thought you should see this room. Occupational therapy. It helps patients relax, gives them a sense of accomplishment, and often it helps us follow their progress. You'll see in a moment when I show you some of the things Kathy's done. Oh, Miss McNeil, could I have Mrs. Bowen's paintings, please?
Oh, yes, Doctor.
Thank you. Some of our patients like to finger paint, and sometimes their paintings tell us a good deal about them. Kathy's one, and some of the paintings she did, beginning the first week she was here, are really quite revealing. I'll show you. Thank you, Miss McNeil. Now, this is Kathy's first painting. Look at the dark colors, the thick, heavy clouds. Now here, a tiny figure, that's Kathy. And over here, the huge, dominant one. And we know who that is. Now let's see the paintings progress. Now we'll notice that the colors here are considerably brighter. This cloud pattern is rather unusual and is quite significant. The mother figure, although still large, is now facing us. The house now has a door. And Kathy is somewhat larger.
I still feel the same way about Mother, but I can't go on that way forever, can I? It seems so useless to go on hating someone.
Well, hate is a pretty wasteful thing, and it's also quite wearing.
But what should I do?
Well, what do you think, Kathy?
I know. It's just like everything else. I've got to find my own way.
You're right. You're learning quite fast.
I'm on to you. All you do is make me think for myself.
Well, you're almost right there.
Well, I know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do anything about Mother, yet. Oh, I forgot. About trying to run away this morning.
You don't seem to be very worried about it.
I'm not anymore.
What did you think about this morning?
When I came inside, it seemed as if I were leaving all that brightness and busyness and coming into a dark sort of nothing. That's funny. I used to be glad to come to the hospital every morning. It seemed to be a refuge.
A refuge?
Yes. You mean I don't need a refuge anymore? Is that what you're getting at?
It might be. Sometimes running away isn't running away at all. You think about it.
Oh, I've got to go. It's time to meet Jim. We're driving home by the lake shore.
Fine. Goodbye, Kathy.
Goodbye, Doctor.
So that's Kathy's case, or a small part of it. It's not through yet. Oh, Kathy's doing fine, and she'll probably be out of here in a couple of weeks. But there are ups and downs in this type of sickness, so that we can't be completely sure just how Kathy's future will go. Even if it goes well, Kathy will have to work hard for the rest of her life at being mentally healthy. She'll have to avoid the things that are bad for mental health, do the things that are good, just as a diabetic or a person with tuberculosis would. We believe that Kathy improved more rapidly here than she would have at a full-time hospital. Of course, not all types of mental illness can be treated at day hospitals, but we believe that there are certain advantages for patients who can. Oh, by the way, I thought you might like to see Kathy's latest painting. She did it today.
Jim. It's good to see you. Have we got time to drive home by the lake shore?
You bet we have.
Good.